Hi, hello, namaste. Welcome back to Needs of Children. We are discussing about 9th standard political science, chapter number 1, our constitution. In the previous session, we get the information about fundamental duties. Let's come to in this session, we are going to get the information about directive principles of state policy with an aim to establish a welfare state. Certain directive principles of state policy have been incorporated in the constitution under fourth part from 36 to 51 articles. These principles serve as guidelines to the state. The framers of our constitution were inspired by the Irish constitution to include such directive principles. These directive principles are in the form of directions to the central as well as state governments. Through these, the government intends to provide economic, social and political justice to its citizens. But these principles are based on ethics. Let's come to which are those directive principles of state policy. So, if the governments, central or state, do not implement them, they cannot be questioned in a court of law. These principles are socialist and liberal and have been based on Gandhian ideals. Any individual or party that comes to power has to rule keeping these principles as guidelines. Hence, these directives are called principles. Directive principles of state policy. Policy number 1. To provide adequate means of livelihood to all citizens. It's a duty of a government must and should provide the adequate means of livelihood to its citizens. That is the number 1 policy. Principle number 2. To prevent the community wealth and resources from becoming the private property of a few people. So, wealth, it should not be concentrated in the hands of few. It has to be equally distributed to all the citizens. So, that is the responsibility of government not to become the wealth in the hands of few. It is distributed equally to all the citizens. This is the principle number 2. And the next, to provide equal pay for equal work to both men and women and to protect labor welfare. That is the responsibility of the government. It has to be implement such kind of acts. Even it is there. So, such kind of equal pay for equal work, that is both for men and women, and protecting the labor welfare. And the next principle number 4. To provide public assistance to those who are old, sick and weak or helpless. Even for that, government it has taken many measures to this. It is called as a social welfare. In the name of social welfare, it is providing old age people pension, and for sick people it is providing some of the free medical facilities, and weak and helpless people providing the vehicles. So, such kind of monthly allowances and some medical facilities are providing through the government. So, such kind of principle it is undertaking. And next, 5th one principle, to implement a uniform civil code throughout the country. Throughout the part of country, must ensure there will be no clumsy or which one we have to give the importance or follow the rules and regulations. So such kind of dilemmas it should not be there. So implement the civil code throughout the part of the country equally. So that is one of the very important principle of the government. And the principle number 6, to provide opportunities for the development of health and preschool education to all the children below the 6 years. So what we are going to be called as the preschool education below the age of 6 years. For them it is take care of health as well as providing the education. It is the responsibility of the government, both central as well as state government. And the next principle number 7, to protect historical monuments and maintain places of historical interest. As India we called as the unity in diversity. Many of the other country people, they are coming to visit our country because of the historical monuments. So that it is the responsibility of government as well as peoples also must and should protect historical monuments and maintain the places as a historical interest. So that it is very important. Principle number 8, to separate the executive from the judiciary. So that is obviously it is there. So it should not be interfere any matters related to executive, that's from the judiciary. That is the duty of the government. And next principle number 9, to protect international peace and to respect international law. That is government, how it is going to be maintain the relationship with other countries. So that is also it is comes under the government, maintaining international, protect the international peace and also respect international law. The next principle number 10, to establish Grama Panchayats where it is essential, where it is required. That is the responsibility of the government to establish the Grama Panchayats. And the next principle number 11, to encourage rural and cottage industries. That is also because of nowadays as the large scale industries completely ruined the cottage industries whereas rural industries. So that government has to be take the responsibility to improve, develop the rural and cottage industries. So that it has to be take the responsibility for the development of such kind of rural and cottage industries. And the principle number 12, to organize and develop agriculture and animal husbandry on a modern lines, not to be the part of what we are practicing the present old method of agricultural practices. The government only has to take the initiative. The agriculture system has to be bring to the modern lines, because basically India is called as the agricultural country. Agriculture is the backbone of our India. So that agriculture and animal husbandry should bring to the modern lines. And the next principle number 13, to ensure prohibition of liquor. That is belongs to the government. It has to be taking responsibility of in what way, that is ensure to prohibition of liquor. Now the next principle number 14, to ensure development of farming based on scientific methods. What agriculture, it is not only bringing the modern lines, it has to be adapt the scientific methods also. Then only the agriculture field can be developed, agriculture sector can be developed. So it has to be ensure the development of farming based on scientific methods. Okay, so these are very important directive principles of our state policy. So the directive principles of state policy are very important. They aim to achieve social welfare while fundamental rights relate to individual, the directive principles of state policy relate to whole community. The central and state governments are making attempts to implement all the principles. These principles aim at holistic development in India. They are the indicators of holistic development of India. So that's it about the directive principles of state policy as well as our constitution. I hope you have understood the concept of directive principles of state policy, and I will come back with the next topic. Until, keep watching my channel. Thank you. See you in the next session.